All right, welcome back, guys, to another installment of Watch Me Prompt, where I basically let you look over my shoulder while I prompt live with all of the mistakes, all the obstacles that I sort of run into, and I basically just share while I'm working on some of the stuff that I'm either creating for social media or for some other project that I'm working on. Today, I'm going to actually share what I'm doing in terms of social media, because I'm just going to, I actually just want to create something that I can share. And today what we're going to do is something that you are probably all more or less familiar with, or I'm guessing at least some of you may have heard of Other Side. If you are into crypto or any of that kind of stuff, then you probably will have heard of the Bored Ape Yacht Club and Yuga Labs with their sort of metaverse project that they had. And one of the things that they did was they had all these different sort of plots of land that they sold, and they used these sort of cool graphics to represent certain different types of regions within the metaverse. So here you have like a volcanic sort of region, here you've got like a slimy region, an ice region, and then you could buy certain different plots of land which would have different properties, different stuff that's hidden on them. My point being, I'm not trying to promote the Other Side at all here. I just really kind of find the artwork quite interesting. And if you wanted to create a sort of NFT project yourself that sort of sold land in a potential metaverse or anything like that, or maybe just trading cards, it doesn't really matter, then today I'm going to try to show you how to do it. Or actually, I'm not really going to show you. I'm going to try to do it, and then maybe we'll find out how it's done. So I'm going to close this off real quick. I'm going to close off Twitter, close off this, by the way, is the project. Yeah, let's not talk about the prices, and let's go. So I'm going to start off with something very basic. I'm going to, let's say I want to create a fantasy land that is sort of in, I don't know, like a planet that is really, really full of ice and snow and stuff like that. So what I would do is I would say mountainous landscape covered in ice crystals. Let's say we're going to do, let's say ice crystals in ruby color. And I'm going to try to see in the style of speed painting, because that usually gives you a nice sort of digital art style that actually looks a lot like what I just showed you. Definitely isometric, because that sort of 3D-ish perspective on a 2D design is called isometric. But I'm wondering if we could add some weird words like biomorphic. Actually, let me quickly show you what biomorphic actually looks like. So if I Google biomorphic, this is what we get, sort of these organic shapes. And if you want to know what Midjourney understands by biomorphic, well, let's have a real quick look. So imagine, geez, come on, biomorphic version 5. Let's have a real quick look. Okay, so what you can see here is this is what Midjourney understands by biomorphic, right? So this gives you an idea. It doesn't mean that when we create our plot of land, it's going to look exactly like this, but it kind of gives you an idea of the kind of elements that it contains and how that might influence the imagery. So let me just quickly delete this because we don't need it. And I'm going to re-enter the command that I had. So biomorphic. And then what I would like to do is Blizzard Core or Blizzard Wave. So sometimes what you can do in Midjourney is really weird. You can take pretty much any well-known term and add wave or core at the end, and it doesn't work with all words, but with many, many words, it will literally understand what you want. I just had a recent video where I discovered that there's a word called grandparent core, like just to give you an idea. So let's see what this does. I'm going to try Blizzard Wave as well. Version 5, aspect ratio 4:5, because I'm using this for social media and because portrait mode for sort of an NFT cover art thing. And what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to add curly braces, and we're going to do permutations. So I'm going to try just basic 100, which is the default for stylized. I'm also going to try 750, and I'm also going to try 1000 just to see what this does. And what you'll see is it asks me, okay, do you want to create these 3 permutations? Because it's going to create 3 prompts. And I'm going to say, yes, let's go. And we'll wait for the images to generate. There we go. Okay, so the images have finished, and let's have a look at the default. This is the default one. Whoops, this is not exactly what I want. I also think this is not detailed enough. So what I'm going to do is the default stylize is not good enough for me. Then the 1000 stylize looks closer, but I wonder whether it's absolutely necessary or not. I think I'm going to stick with 750. But the problem is this is not the kind of plot of land that I'm looking for. I want a 3D sort of look. So I wonder whether the problem is with the mountainous landscape that I added. So let's see if I can change this. Maybe we'll do plot of land from 3D game. Maybe that'll change. Snowy mountainous landscape or snow-covered mountainous landscape. Various small ice crystals from recolor in the style speed painting. Now, I'm not sure whether this might be colliding here, and I'm also not sure about the the blizzard core. So I'm going to remove these for now. I'm also going to add the isometric at the front. Isometric plot of land from 3D game, just to make sure. I'm going to stick with the 750 as the stylized value. However, I do want to see whether we can potentially, in the style of speed painting, 2D game, and let's remove this isometric plot of land, snow covered, and we'll check this out, 3D game. So what we're going to do now is these are again permutations. This is all going to stay constant. The only thing that's going to change is this piece here with speed painting, 2D game, 3D game. So let's have a look. Yes, I want these 3. Okay, great. So let's have a quick look at these 3. The first one, in the style of 3D game, turned out like this. Looks pretty good, right? So the question here, though, is what about the others? This one, which one was this? Speed painting. In the style of speed painting. So this one looked pretty good as well. The problem here is, though, that it's not really being constrained to a plot of land. So that tells me that this might not be the best choice. So what we'll do is we will check out the last one, which was this was 2D game. The first one was 3D game. This one was 2D game. And this one looks very similar to the first one, but again, we have these issues with the top left. So that might just be a random occurrence. And this one looks great. What I'm not 100% sure about this one is that it's almost too 3D-ish. So what I'll do is I'm going to stick with this last one, and we'll build upon on top of this. So let's say isometric plot of land shaped like an island, snow-covered mountainous landscape. Now I'm going to remove these ruby color thingies because I think it's adding too much color to the design, and as you can see, it's even covering the background, so let's leave that out. In the style of 2D game, biomorphic blizzard core, let's try that. However, what I'm also going to do is we're going to switch around. I'm really not sure whether this island piece might become a problem, but let's have a look what it does. Now I want to iterate through different variations of sort of vegetation regions, just like what I showed you earlier with other side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, I messed that up, sorry about that, cut that out, and we're going to add permutations again, and this time snow-covered mountainous landscape. Then we'll do tropical island, and then desert, canyonous, is that a word? Canyonous, desert, biomorphic blizzard core. Now the problem here is that, let's see if we can stuff this part in here. And I'm going to explain something real quick to you because these commas are separators for different permutations. If I want to add this in here and I want to be part of this whole permutation, then I need to add a backslash in here because that indicates to Midjourney that this is actually not a separator. So what we'll do here is we'll do the exact same thing, comma, and then jungle core, and then desert landscape. We'll do desert wave. So again, these are 3 permutations. Want to see the prompts? And this is exactly what I was looking for, right? So it's switching between tropical island, jungle core, snow-covered mountain, landscape, blizzard core, canyonous, desert landscape, desert wave. So let's do it, and voila. I guess that worked out pretty good. This is our sort of snowy world. This is our tropical island world. And this is our desert world. Now, what you could do now is, I'm not going to go any more into detail on these, but of course you can continue to edit these later on. The thing that you would want to do then is you would, let's say you wanted to take, let's pick one. Which one? Shall we pick this one? The bottom right, the left? I'll take the bottom right one. So let's say number 4. And what you could then do is, once it's done, it's funny how even though there's no upscaler, it actually takes some time. There you go. Copy. And then what you would do is you would open up, let's say, Affinity Designer. And for some reason, this is a tiny, tiny image. But then you could continue editing this in any sort of image editor you wanted to do. And you could, for example, remove this background. Sorry, I'm messing up here. I need to convert this to pixels first, rasterize, and then you could remove this background, right? And then you could add typography up here. You could add sort of a different kind of background, particularly if you're creating like gaming cards and stuff like that. Now, the big question though, I guess you still have, is can you replicate it? Well, obviously you can hit just reroll, and let's maybe try that with this one. So I'm gonna, let's say I wanted this style, or not this style, I'm just gonna re-roll this whole thing and see what happens. Okay, so it finished generating, and what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to open up this set of images. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste it just on top of this because it's not so important. And the other thing is now I'm gonna go back again to the browser, close that, and open the new set just to be able to compare. And unfortunately, I messed up by making it too big. I'm going to hide this. But we want to have a look at, are they actually similar? And for the most part, they are. So what you're looking is for similar styles. So I would say, for example, in this case, that this one here and these up here at the top, they are similar in style. When I say style, I mean literally just the art style. Of course, the colors are a bit warmer in this one and they're a bit cooler in the other two. But if you just look at the overall vegetation, how the rocks are formed, they are very close to each other. What's not so close is the fact that there's water around this. There's no water here, and then there's like this weirdly straight shaped water, I guess. But you could remove this if you were in an image editor like the one I have open right now. Now, there's another thing to keep in mind. What you could do as well, if let's say you're having trouble recreating these prompts, or you want a very particular style that you've seen elsewhere, well, nothing's stopping you from taking this image. I'm going to copy this to my clipboard and then simply using the describe feature of Midjourney and then waiting for what it produces. And here's what it gave us. It has these 4 starter prompts as suggestions. And as you can see, it's also using style of 2D game art. It's actually using it twice here. So let's maybe, and here again, hike core. Remember what I said about core and wave? It does this all the time. So let's have a look and try these two just as comparisons. B5. I'm not going to do anything about the stylize because apparently it's not necessary. We'll have a look. And I messed up the parameter. Sorry about that. Submit. And we'll try this one as well and see what it spits out. And as you can see, it actually gives us some really nice images. I really like these. They're just a bit too 3D-ish for me. And these are much better though. And what's awesome about these is that they're actually so much more detailed. It's amazing. So using Describe to try to figure out like a core prompt that you can then reuse and adjust and change to your liking is clearly a really good strategy. So for example, organic sculpting, I never would have thought of that. The Creative Commons attribution, honestly, I can't, whatever it does, it is random, very random. But colorful realism, here again, in the style of 2D game art. But then the rest, you could probably just replace this with whatever you want, and maybe you'd switch the height core, but then it would produce an image that's closer to what you want. So this is just to show you a great approach for how to create this isometric 3D art that you can either use for games or you can use for NFT art when you're building like a NFT metaverse sort of game where you're giving people the chance to buy plots of land within that game that come with resources and all sorts of things. I hope you found this video useful today. Again, this is random sort of off the script, improvised sort of stuff. And the main thing is that I want you guys to just keep on learning. If you enjoyed this one, check out some of the other Watch Me prompt videos. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Keep on learning and take care. Cheers.